Cool. Dude, these calls are actually pretty good. You guys on the 5 and 5:30 call tonight? Doesn't seem like a lot of people. I'm on the Facebook Lives because I can never remember the Zoom numbers, even though they're on the pictures. I just feel like it's easier to get the rooms on the lives. So cool. Awesome. Are we inviting our clients and coaches to these, our newer coaches especially, hopefully? Yeah, new guys. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, something I wanted to talk about, I kind of went back and forth on this, but I started writing some questions down for me personally, what I'm going to do this year. And hopefully I can inspire some of you guys to do the same thing. So one is what do we really want? Like Jamil always says, for real, like, what do we really want? I don't think a lot of us half the time know what we really want. We say we do. I'm just going to speak freely, I guess, unplugged, however you want to look at it. You know, we say we want stuff for our kids. We say we want to travel. We say we want to pay off debt. We say we want to make a certain income. But it's really a matter of going back and really diving into that emotional attachment too. You know, I know some of you guys are seasoned coaches. Some of you guys are new coaches. Some of you guys are in a funk. Some of you guys are rocking and rolling. Let's just be real. There's all different walks of life on here right now. But the main thing I want us to talk about is, like, what are we doing to move forward? Like, you know, funny story, you sit at your 40th birthday party and you're walking around, and one of my 2020 intention or 2022 intentions is, are these conversations I'm having like moving me forward? Are they empowering me or the people I'm talking to? Or am I just gossiping about Susie Joe down the street from 6 weeks ago that had a tire blow out and the car flipped over or something? Like, that's my intention with some of this stuff. Like, a lot of the conversations when you're walking around and you're chatting with people, there's different conversations going on. And it's not a judgment. It's just loving on people where they're at and understanding where they're at. But my thing for 2022 is really being intentional about what my conversations are. And that being said is if you feel like you can never get those conversations going to where, like, example, I had a buddy, George, introduced him to Jamil. First thing I did was I pivoted the conversation into, hey, this is the guy I'm talking to who does a lot of rental properties. Him and his buddies do rental properties. And then we started talking about how to do rental properties and what that looks like. And it doesn't always have to be this amazing, conversation, but it's just like, what is that intention? The reason I asked that is because that's who we are hanging out with 90% of the time, right? The top 5 people you hang out with is usually who you are, attitude wise, drive wise, personality wise. We usually, birds of a feather flock together kind of thing. And these aren't judgments, man. These are just things that I'm doing for myself 2022. And if this is something that's going to help you guys, if you really want to run this thing big, if you really want to have that in your organization, let's just go to that next step, right? These are things that we want to have. And pretty much everybody on here is a seasoned coach. So I don't think I'm scaring any new coaches yet. But what are we willing to do? What are things we're willing to do? What are we scared of? These are questions I've been asking myself. What are we willing to give up? We hear this all the time, but like, legit, what are we willing to give up? I love Doug Wood's Real Talk the other day. It's very inspirational, very like slap in the face. His internet worked better than mine. So we'll just hopefully I don't keep freezing. But these are things that, like, I want you guys to think about. So I asked a few ladies, to hop on tonight and share their stories, because they're kind of 2 different walks of life. One came in and just started taking off with her significant other, Rob, just kidding, Roy. And then Beverly came in and had a little bit of a slower start, but she really started ramping it up. So I asked these ladies to kind of come on and share their stories and share, like, what are 3 big shifts that they've had over their businesses, whatever different lengths they are. And I'll let them share their time frames. But this is really important to understand, guys, because all we want to do is sit there and look at the wows and the Dan Valentines and the Doug Woods. And did you guys know Doug Wood was going backwards as a global director before they even ever hit presidential or even IPD? Did you know their business was dissolving and going completely backwards? Did you know he wanted nothing to do with this when he started? It was all Tia's, cute little business. Like, go do that thing, Tia. That's cool. I have a furniture business, and now they're pretty much the top paid in the organization. Don't quote me on that. Pretty sure, rumor has it. But that's all because they made decisions. So anyways, I'm gonna have Dawn come on first. She likes it when I make her nervous first, so I'm gonna call on her first. But I just wanted to share her story and like three big shifts that you've had, Dawn, during this time, because I know you guys are rocking and rolling and really building a great organization and having an amazing community come into this thing. So take it away and set your timer.
Justin. Yeah, you always make me nervous doing this, especially when you say your first step. No, thank you. I am honored to speak tonight, and it kind of goes along with what I'm going to tell you as far as, realizing that I do have something to offer. So Roy's and My Journey started back in October of 2020, so a little over a year ago. And of course, everybody knows when we decided to buy Justin's boat, but there was a much bigger reason that we met Justin. This program has not only saved us with our health, but also with our finances. Justin has dripped coaching to us from the beginning of our journey, and we laugh about it now, saying, he would ask me and I'm like, yeah, no, I have a good job with benefits. I'm good. I don't have the time. Roy can coach, so I wasn't really open to it in the beginning. And I had a lot of trash talk in my head, and I always thought, why would anybody want to listen to me? What do I have to offer? The girl that's fought her weight all her life. This is probably just gonna be one of those other, yo-yo diets that I've done before, and that self-doubt and self-esteem, low self-esteem was crippling to me. I was a third child who never felt I was good enough. My brother and sister were good looking and popular, and, and I was the chubby kid. So, as we started into our journey, I noticed a shift started happening. I started to realize that I found a program that works. It's not one of those gimmick diets. And it's something that really has taught me from the beginning how to make this a sustainable lifestyle change. And then people started noticing and asking questions. And, I would tell them, how awesome it was and refer them to Justin. Here, Justin can coach you. And then just like he said, and I always, I love to pump his little ego a little bit more by telling him, darn it, he was right again. They don't want to talk to me. And that's what he would tell me. They don't want to talk to me. He would say, they don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to you, because I'm the one who has a relationship with them. First one was my hairdresser. She kept asking me, and I connected her to Justin, and she never did anything. And then when I started coaching, guess what? She came on plan. So in January of last year, my daughter asked to join the program. So that's when Roy and I decided to coach. We said we can give her the money that we make toward her feelings and help her. And this is when I noticed another big shift happening. I started to realize, I do have something to offer. I am good enough. Those two siblings that I spoke about earlier, one of them's on this call as a coach, and the other one's on program. Little break because he had COVID, but he's on program. So now I'm the one leading them when I felt like I just was never going to be what they are. And now I feel like I'm leading them, and it's cool. So at this point, Roy and I were started to really notice our improved health, not only in the way we look, but the way we act. We started living out loud more, showing how proud we were of who we were becoming. Roy's down 120 pounds, off medication, so much healthier. I'm going to have him in my life longer, which is amazing. I'm down 85, and I think I avoided a lot of the health issues that were just around the corner for me. But we just started, like Justin says, we started living out loud more. We're participating in 5Ks to help with fundraising for people. We're more energetic. And now I'm having more courage to talk about it. It's infectious. This last shift was, I'm talking to everybody and anybody. And like he says, just have conversations, right? We've watched him, start conversations out on the boat or whatever. And so now I have done two things. I have been more intentional with my, my social media, but I'm getting away, I'm not getting away from it, but I'm also adding more in-person things. I went and had my COVID shot today for my booster, and I walked away with 3 contacts. One of them is a health assessment tomorrow. I just talk. I just tell them what I'm doing because I'm excited about what I'm doing. I've started rekindling relationships with people. I went out to dinner with a girl that I never in a million years thought she would ever need a program like this, because once again, I worked with her years ago when I was the chubby kid, and I always looked up to her. Well, come to find out, she really needed our program. So she ordered her kit yesterday. So she's going to be in the business with us. She's going to be on program with us. But that huge shift of not being afraid to talk to people and not judging who you think will want it and who won't want it or who doesn't need it, just share it with everybody. That was what has really shifted and growing our business. So real quick, numbers guy, Roy fed me the numbers. We have, since this new incentive for January, we starting end of December, we have 14 new clients since that incentive hit, 11 so far for January. Our frontline's projected to be over 12,000 so far, just with what we have existing in there, but I know it's going to be much bigger. New clients coming in, and our group is projected to be over 16,000. So you guys, I am planning my retirement. I am shifting from teaching people dentistry and changing lives that way to teaching people health and changing lives this way. So Justin, you're a blessing in our lives, and I truly appreciate and love you. So thank you. That's all I got.
All good, man. You guys are doing all the work. That's awesome. Can you guys still hear me okay? Or is my internet being weird? We're good. Cool. Yeah, I think, the crazy thing about Dawn is that she just talks to people. Like I messaged her earlier today. She says, hey, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel because of my booster shot. But about an hour later, I think she's like, hey, got 3 connections out of being in the booster shot booth or whatever, wherever she was at. So it's just a matter of like being intentional. We overthink this stuff so much. It's literally just about being intentional. So Bev, why don't you come off and share with us your journey, your story? Thank you so much, Dawn.
Hey, can everybody hear me? So my story is a little bit different than Dawn's because I actually was a credit card thrower. So I randomly went to an event with Christy, who is on right now. Wave, Christy. Hey. So Christy invited me to an event in Ontario where I met Desiree and Justin. And when I walked in the room, I honestly did not know what I was getting myself into. I had no idea I don't even know why I went. Honestly, I had no idea. But when I showed up and I saw everybody and saw how healthy they were, and I had a talk with Desiree, and she was talking about how her and her friend were going to go on program. Her friend decided not to. And Justin was like, well, do it anyway. And then she wound up getting, being able to quit real estate and do this full time and be able to stay at home with her kids, was really inspiring. And so as soon as Christy and I got back in the car, I think we went to grab a soda at a fast food place for the ride home or like whatever. And I just threw my credit card at her and I'm like, sign me up for both program, coaching, just sign me up for both. And because I'm actually what I like to call a retired teacher, because I was a teacher for 12 years, taught home economics, old school home economics, and always knew that there was something better and there was something different. And I always knew that I was destined to not, I don't know, I just felt like there was something more, that I wasn't really fulfilling all my potential that I had. And so this exactly fit the bill, and this was perfect. So then I've been a coach. I started coaching in March of 2018. And so I've been coaching for almost 4 years now. So then I had the issue where I didn't understand why nobody wanted to hop on. It didn't make sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you want to do this? It made the science behind the program made perfect sense to me. And so I really, really, really struggled with that a lot. I actually did wind up losing some friendships over it, which is fine. It's not a bit, but it was harsh and it was hard. And, there was a little bit of that went on, a lot of jealousy and things like that. And so it's been a slow road, and I did work a little bit. I started coaching full time about 8 months after I started. I just took a leap of faith and told my boss that I wanted to go part-time because I wanted to do more health coaching because it was really on my heart and I really wanted to do it. And he said, well, I don't do part-time. I said, well, then I guess I'll be a full-time health coach. So I did it, and I knew the potential because I saw what Justin was doing and I saw what everyone else was doing. So I knew that it was possible. And I honestly knew that if other people could do it, I knew that I could too. And but I didn't know how to do it. And so I really had to follow everybody's lead, and I had to follow everything that everybody said. And that's what I did. I didn't do it perfectly, but I followed what everybody told me to do. And so over the course of the 4 years, I had random coaches here and there, nobody, like not very many coaches. But what I found was that when it comes to offering coaching, I think it's more, I don't know if I want to say more sustainable if there's people that are already on program or not, but I find that for me personally right now, it seems like the coaches that seem to have the best, what's the word I'm looking for? Sustainability, I guess, or can reach out to more people, or the people who are better on program, that kind of thing. So I also noticed too that when I don't know if you've all seen Jamil's timeline, but once he got to 10,000 FLV, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but once he got to 10,000 FLV, his business like exploded. Because then you have a bunch of different clients, right, that actually are doing really well on program, where you've got more people that you can talk to about coaching, which means it's more of so then you can expand more. And so for me, that was a big thing. So then I knew I had to get up to 10,000, like 10,000 to 15,000. And I did, I made it. I got up to 17,000 on my own. And that's when my business really started to explode. And how I did that was I reached out to everybody on my Facebook. I made a Facebook list of everybody I have on Facebook, reached out to 10 to 20 of those people a day, just said, hello, how you doing? Happy New Year, whatever the case might be. Happy Valentine's Day, happy Easter, whatever it was. And then I did my action steps with birthdays and all that other. And then I always do a before and after post every single day at 6 a.m. I don't know, it just works. I have friends that actually say, call me after you do your before and after post, because they know that I'm going to do it every single day at 6 o'clock. Well, not every day, usually not on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, every day, before and after 6 a.m. Pacific time. And they wait for it. And so those are just a couple of tips that have helped me out. But for the big thing, another one of the big things too is one of the turning points for me was, and it's a lot, I tell my clients this a lot too, is that it's selfish not to share. Like if somebody wouldn't have shared, like if Christy wouldn't have shared it with me and Justin wouldn't have shared it with her daughter, then I wouldn't be here. And all of my clients wouldn't be here. And I'm almost up to 200 clients. I think I'm 3 clients away from my 200th client. And all the 200 people, they wouldn't have had an opportunity to be on our program. And so, so that's the big thing. And then also I find too, that if talking to clients is a huge accountability factor, where a lot of them don't realize that if they actually do coach people, it is going to help them stay on program. And I don't know personally, if I wasn't coaching, I may not have stayed on program. I may have gained my weight back. And I don't know. I'm just glad that I don't know, because because I don't want to gain my weight back. And I think I forgot to set my timer. So anyway, that's my story. But yeah, thank you.
No worries, man. It's all good. Thank you so much. I think, as I'm sitting here listening to these ladies talk, it's like, it's just simple to do the work. And a lot of times we get stuck with, well, this isn't working the way I want it to, or in the time frame I want it to, so I'm going to do something else. And then that doesn't work, and then I'm going to do something else. And then that doesn't work, and I'm going to do something else. And the irony of the whole thing is do we ever have clients, you guys can wink at me, or if you want to throw one in the chat, do you ever have a client that thinks they're doing the program the right way and they're not, but then it doesn't work and then they go somewhere else? So it's kind of really like silly. Like, are we slapping ourselves in the face or bumping our heads against the wall when our coach says, let's do ABC, and we're like, I'll do ABF instead, and hopefully that works out. Like, hey, you want to be really successful? I suggest you go to this training. Nah, I don't have time. Hey, if you want to be really successful, I suggest you do 5 and 1. Nah, I need to exercise. I got stress in my life. Hey, if you want to be really successful and get to your goals at this certain date, you probably want to talk to at least 6 people a day. Nah, I don't want to bug people. It's like, it's really simple. You just up the numbers. You hopefully have a better internet plan than I do, so your face doesn't freeze. But the thing is, though, is it's very simple, man. We say this all the time, and there's a lot of seasoned guys on here, so I'm kind of coming on you guys hard. I know Jennifer's probably at work. That's why her thing's off, but she's on here. She's a new coach. She's making it happen. She's trying her best to do what it is. So the thing is no, you're good. I'm not calling you guys out. You're good. I'm just saying, like, I want to start to see new faces on here, myself included. Like, we got to start bringing more people on that really want to change their lives. We got to start changing audiences. I had a guy I went off-roading with. I've been like building up this relationship. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I know basically Kobe Bryant's ex-security guard of 16 years before he passed away. Dude's net worth is stupid, $100 million. He's building a $2 million sushi place in Newport Beach right now. He's got a 73-foot yacht, which I'm going to get to enjoy on Thursday. He's actually offered to fly me to Florida via San Antonio through his private airplane. So we're stopping in Texas tomorrow, and then we're heading on to Florida after dropping a friend off. But it's like, that's what I'm asking you guys. Like, what kind of conversations are you having, and who are you still around? Like, to Beverly's point, you're going to lose friends. I warned my aunt, you're going to lose friends. They're not going to grow with you. They're not going to want to grow with you. They're going to probably want to judge you because that's their safe place. And I'm just being real with you guys, because if we want to have that next level of fun, if we want to have the things we want to have, they're not going to help you pay for them. So what does their opinion even matter? It's crazy. I'd be really interested to see if your power went off right now, how many of your friends would pay your bill for the next 6 months? But they got 50,000 opinions of what you're doing right now. That's how I look at it. They don't pay your bills. You've heard me say this before. So when you're talking to people or you're looking for people, who are we looking for? Are we dragging people? Are we trying to find people that really want to be inspired? Are we having good conversations? Or are we just having like, oh, that's the girl from the bar. She, throws up every now and then. Or are we talking to people about like, oh my God, next year I want to travel to Dubai, and I'm working on a business plan on how to be able to get there and how much money I need to save a month. Or, hey, I'm super excited. I've saved up enough money. I'm going to start to put my kids into private school or college funds. Like things that you feel proud of when you leave the conversation. And I get caught up in some of that stuff too. It's not easy, but it's the audience you're around. It's just like, here's an example. You want to hear like an epiphany right now? How hard is it to be eating healthy in your house when you got a bunch of crap of junk food in your cabinet? So if you don't take the junk food out of the cabinet, it ain't gonna help you. So if you don't take the junk conversation out of your cabinet, you're never gonna change that conversation. And I just say that to say things like, how many of us, let's wink, get burned out on that same client that wants to say the same thing? Well, this doesn't work for me. Well, you're exercising, or you had a soda on Saturday. Oh my God, I think the program's bad for me. I got so much stomach bloating and this and that. Well, yeah, it was probably because you went off plan Thursday, Friday, Saturday for Thanksgiving, and now you're back detoxing. Did you ever think of that? Or you want to blame the program? Like, let's go have intentional conversations. Let's go talk to that next level of person. I had this conversation with Don and Roy, right? You're going to have 80% of your clients and your coaches do what they want to do. Let's just be real. You cannot control that. I don't care what you try to do. You're not going to control that. You're going to have 20% of your clients and coaches probably actually listen to you. That you can't control, right? Which is a good thing. But the point is, though, is you want to spend 80% of your time with 20% of your coaches. You want to spend 20% of your time with 80% of your clients and coaches that aren't doing it. And that's the same thing in life. Same thing with family members. Doug Wood, we went to, Churchport, a Millionaire. He's like, I don't hang around people, even if they're family, that aren't benefiting my goals. He's emptying out his junk food in his cabinet. And that's why our community is so powerful. That's why our calls are so powerful. That's why us over here trying to like move you guys forward. You know, it'd be funny. Ask your friend when they're done picking whatever situation you got apart, say, well, what would you suggest to do? How else would I do it? And they probably wouldn't have an immediate answer right there. But they'd have 50 ways of telling you it's not going to work. Or ask them, how's your current situation going? They won't tell you the honest truth. So what does it matter? Like, for reals. We have to go find people that want to find us. But you have to put yourself in the same room with those people. You have to be the weakest link in the room. You have to be the weakest person in the gym. You want to grow and push yourself, that's where you got to be. If you feel comfortable in the room you're in, there's a problem. To Dawn's point, when I asked her to talk today, she's like, okay, here comes the butterflies. Just picking on her because she's being real. Nobody's perfect being on these calls. I'm sure Dan Valentine, you know what's funny is I go backstage with Dan Valentine and the dude's still pacing till this day. With his phone, with his vest, with his thing, pacing behind the stage, about to go out. Dude's multimillionaire, still freaks out going on stage. It's nothing changed, but he's still willing to do it. Those are things that you're trying to control and you can't, but you're doing it anyways. The difference between somebody who can speak on stage is they've just learned to not freak out for 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 hours, or days, 2 hours, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. It just becomes that quick. But these are the same things of talking to people or putting yourself in position to go somewhere or go find people that need this. Make our lists. Do you guys think of a positive thing about your goals? When we say, hey, let's go write down our goals, what's the first thought that pops in your head? Is it a positive or a negative? When we say, hey, let's go make our list of 100 people, is it a positive or a negative? So I ask you again, what do you really want? Is it written down? What are you willing to give up? You know, I watched the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Dude's up at 4 a.m. and he's doing legs on a Sunday at like 11 o'clock at night. And then he has to be back up at 4 a.m. again the next day. Like, the guy's a machine, but look at where he's at. Everybody looks at the dollar sign, what his net worth is, but they're not willing to do his work ethic 7 days a week. They're not willing to do his schedule 7 days a week. They're not willing to do what it takes for him, for his income. We have a vehicle here, guys. A $200 investment can be a multi-million-dollar business. I got a guy right now, he's looking for a foundation. He's trying to find a building. He wants to start up his own business, and it's going to cost him about 200 grand. To my point, even John, I mean, the guy I'm traveling with tomorrow, he's spending $2 million to start a sushi restaurant. There's ways to do it if you have the funds. But for us to be able to go do something twice as fast, 3 times as fast, 7 times as fast, 20 times as fast, You know, you look at a $200 investment and you go to $600, that's triple your investment in less than a week. If you really grind it out and you find your 5 clients. Most of us, we just look at the $200 and the $600. You don't look at the percentages. That's super huge in most businesses. People would love that. So I just asked you guys, what are we willing to do? Are we working on ourselves? Everything they talked about tonight, I'm kind of reiterating a little bit, but I was going to talk about this before I even saw the calls. In fact, I didn't want to watch the calls, but then I didn't want to sound stupid on here because they're saying the same stuff, but it's kind of a repetitive habit, man. Success leaves clues. January is the month. We talk about the last week, the first 2 weeks of January is huge. I would not slow down right now. Where are we at with our health? I still want to lose 15 pounds. Lost 5 so far. Doing a little bit differently. I'm not doing the 5 and 1, but I'm working on it. I'm reading the books. I'm connecting with people. I'm following up with past clients. I'm sending out my messages. I'm posting. Still trying to figure out this real thing versus story and all that crap on Instagram. They're changing stuff left and right, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still remembering to post on Facebook. I feel like Facebook's a blur now. There's so much stuff on Instagram, but I'm still working on it. It's simple actions, like Beverly said, like Dawn said. And then going back to the even basics, put yourself in front of people, talk to people. Connections can be made anywhere. My goal is at least to make 25, 30 connections while I'm flying across and hanging out and then flying back. Who knows who I'll meet in the process? So I'll end it with put yourself in position. And if you don't have a position, it doesn't have to be this dragged out thing. Go to the grocery store, go try on clothes, go to the park, go take your dog for a walk, but say something to the person walking by you. Well, Justin told me to go for a walk. How's that going to work? Well, you got to say something to the person walking next to you. You can't just assume walking around the block, they're going to be excited like you are. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's really all I wanted to talk about tonight. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. I'll throw the playback in here. But guys, dude, we have such an awesome opportunity. We really do. A $200 investment can turn into something huge. Like, you really got to look at that. Even the dragon's trying to get her face in there and tell us what's cracking. You know what I mean? Tell him, Jordan. Tell him, get to work. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great evening, okay?
Bye, Justin. Thank you.